I think of CDR, carbon dioxide removal, as a piece of this larger ecosystem that we're moving towards. I think it's really important for us to envision a future and hopefully an accessible and inclusive one, and thinking about how CDR plays a role in us getting to that future and then what it looks like in that future. We still have to rapidly reduce our use of fossil fuels. And in the meantime, there are communities who are living on the front lines of this. We have to mitigate, we have to increase resilience. And we talk at NWF a lot about how that looks like natural climate infrastructure and natural solutions, while these tech solutions are in development so they can be deployed later. Sometimes, and maybe the critique of CDR and why are we investing all this money and stuff, is really because there are current needs that people have that are not being addressed by our society. And so what can we do as NGO representatives, as policymakers, as people who are funding these projects to create a world where these projects that we need in the future also address needs right now? How can you help enfranchise and unlock a power in a community that is there, but oftentimes because of systemic issues, these groups of people are vulnerable or disenfranchised? Really something that we're interested in at NWF is using our constituency to mobilize people's science. So using those technical assistant kind of centers to help educate people and promote a work stream. If you could think of it as like you would hire interns or create fellow programs where you're then training the local community, those that have the capacity to participate in data collection that would then kind of feed into this public data kind of system. I'm an expert in the engineering, but I'm not an expert in that community's lived experiences. They are an expert in that, and that it is really not about placing one expertise above the other, but marrying the two of them. Our federal government has put a lot in terms of policy behind CDR, and so I think we're really just getting into the phases of like deploying that money to figure out what the next kind of step is. Companies will be able to apply to be a part of a hub in terms of sharing infrastructure with each other, and you would like to have multiple different DAC actors, direct air capture actors, that would then be kind of sharing this infrastructure to storage. And so how you should have like these very developed technologies housed in the same place as really innovative technologies, and allowing them to kind of grow in a symbiotic way with each other. So then we can really see like, you know, maybe that these processes individually are really costly, but kind of combining ideas and allowing for innovation to occur is something that could really move the needle on that. We recognized that there was a gap in the conversation, that the conservation community, whether it was because of their constituency or concerns about the science, were not participating in the conversation that, as we've already kind of shown, is happening very quickly, very robustly from all angles. And we really felt like if nobody is sitting at that table taking that seat for conservation, then does conservation have a voice in this? And we talked about land use and energy use, and this is a conservation question. This is a question that's going to affect wildlife. I want to make sure that people are educated about all of the solutions that exist so they can make the best self-determination decision. And then I'm here to present you with some solutions. These solutions all have caveats to them, and it's really important to be aware of the caveats that might affect you. And then from that, let's make a decision about things. We're in a really dire situation as a planet. Frankly, people who look like us are affected differently and really impacted by what's happening. And there are solutions, and they're very early stage, but I think to explore the potential of them and the potential to solve this problem, we need support, and we have to come together to do it, to collaborate on all fronts to get to the multitude of solutions that will fix this problem.